Hi everyone, my name is Praju and I am from India. I'm studying international business as my minor here at Ferris State. My main focus is business administration. We are here today to talk to you guys about our experience as students here at Ferris State University and how it positively impacted our life when it comes to education and overall friendships and making professional contacts here at Ferris.
Hi everyone, my name is Manu and I am from Madagascar. I'm studying business administration with a minor in leadership and project management. And I'm a senior here. I will graduate soon. Um, and yeah, we can go to the next one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordanny. I a junior going into my senior year, so I'll be graduating next spring. Uh, my major is HVAC and refrigeration, and I'm double minoring in econ and project project management and leadership. And yeah, so and now we pass it on to Kayla, who will be our MC per se for this discussion.
All right. Hello, my name is Kayla. I am an American student. I am studying general business and I'm a senior, so I'll be graduating this fall. So we're going to start off with the questions. And the first question is, did you always know that you wanted to study abroad? And it's up for whoever wants to answer.
I'll take this one. Um, I had it in the back of my head that I'd want to study abroad. After I finished high school, I did 2 years of what we call junior college here, which is equivalent of community college in the U.S. And I just did it because all my friends were going there, and it's usually what you do here after high school if you don't go abroad straight away. But I studied for the 2 years, and after that, I took it like a gap year, and I just started working with my parents, and they do HVAC, and so I decided like halfway through the year that if I was gonna do this for the rest of my life, I wanted to go to school for it, and I knew there weren't any schools here for it that would be particularly as good as ones that I could find abroad. And so that's when I started to think about it. And that's when I decided to look for a school that I could attend. And that's how I found Ferris.
Awesome. And go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. So I didn't really know that I wanted to study abroad because I already studied in my university back home and things were doing well until things didn't do well at all anymore because of we're a relatively poor country. There are a lot of corruptions into the higher education system, and I wanted to avoid that, and I wanted to take that as an opportunity to go abroad. So that's when I knew I needed to go abroad, and I chose America.
Awesome. And Praju, did you want to answer the question too, or?
Of course. So the reason I came here was I went to the community college first, and then I transferred to Ferris State like that. So I'm a senior here. I'm almost done. The reason I wanted to study in the U.S. is because I really wanted to improve my English. Mostly back in India, I studied in my first language. So most of my education was done in my first language, which doesn't necessarily help in this world these days. So I think pushing myself was one of the reasons why coming to the US and learning it in English, and also knowing different cultures. Like I know you guys now, everyone from different countries. So it's just a good experience to learn and study academics too.
That's and why did you, Jordan, you kind of touched on it, but why did you want to study at Ferris State University? Or was that always your first option? Or was there another option that you were considering?
So it was never my first option. I didn't even know Ferris existed. But when I just Googled schools, because I knew I wanted to do engineering and mechanical at that, but I wanted to be like very specialized in HVAC and refrigeration. And so I Googled schools who had 4-year degrees specifically in that field. And Ferris was only one of two schools that popped up. And it looked much better than the other school. And so I didn't even know where Big Rapids was. I didn't visit Michigan before. Like I was very familiar with this, like Texas and Florida and so forth, because I had family there and we would visit there. But I'd never been in the northern part of the country or the Midwest for that. And so when I found Ferris, then I went there the April before I started, and I saw the school and everything. And then I was like, all right, this is yeah. I'm gonna go here, and I'm glad I made the choice because I've definitely enjoyed my 3 years there already.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
The reason when I did that Ferris because I'm a transfer student. So my previous college had a direct transfer with Ferris. This wasn't the only college I chose. I chose four more colleges, but Ferris, most of the credits transfer to Ferris, so that's very convenient. Um, and also Ferris offered me a good scholarship, so to like a lot of transfer students or incoming freshman students, if they wanna choose any college that offers good scholarships for them to kind of support, and it looks good in your future too. I think Ferris is a good option. We have very good scholarships, which helps me too.
I am also a transfer student, but I studied in Illinois before in my community college. And when I was searching for a 4-year school to continue my degree, Ferris was kind of close to Illinois, but not too close as well, as I wanted to venture myself out of Illinois. So, and Ferris was also, they were very helpful when it comes to transferring my credits, doing my immigration papers. They were very right on it. So I just say, okay, this is probably the opportunity. So I went for it. That's why I chose Ferris.
Oh, wow. So it seems like Ferris has really good connections with other schools.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you guys pick your program? Was that always something that you want to do? I know Jordanny said that he was following in his parents' footsteps and stuff. How did you guys pick your programs?
I just always wanted to learn something in business, and knowing that I come from a different country, it's never sure that I will end up in the US necessarily to work for the rest of my life. So thinking about all those circumstances, I thought learning international business would be a good option for me, because even if I go to any other country, I will have a basic knowledge about dealing with different cultures, and when that's what we learn in our classes is cultures and currencies, and just overall how to do management or marketing with other countries and the residents. So I think that kind of overall fit what I wanted to do, and Ferris offers the minor in that. So I think that's why I liked Ferris too in that.
I chose mine because while I was working at Ferris in a more of like a management leadership position, I discovered my passion, which is managing people and leadership. And I've always been interested in the business side of any organization, like how they work and what makes them a business, the overall culture of the business. So all of that have always been interesting to me. So, and I always thought too, business administration, it's a broad major. You can do whatever you want in it. And then later on, when you do your master, you can focus on a subject that is really, that you're passionate about. So that is why I chose my program.
Oh, that's so great. And then what were you excited about, or what were you nervous about before you left to come to Ferris State University?
Well, personally, I had never lived alone. I've always lived at home, so I was nervous about that, not having anybody around that I would know per se. uh, where Belize is a very small country, and so people that I went to school with since elementary school have gone to school with me all the way up to when I was graduating high school and went to junior college and everything. So not having that like close bond with people that I would know, that was nervous. But I was excited to, live somewhere else to experience. I was excited to experience snow for because I've seen it before, but had never really just been in it. And that only lasted for like a week. After that, I was a little tired of it. But it was those are kind of little things that I was excited about. But yeah, it was definitely a different experience at first.
I was very homesick when I came here the first time. I mean, when I came to the Ferris State, I was already a transfer student, but when I first came to the US, I really didn't know a lot of things. I would be honest, I didn't even know how the currency works in the US. That was my bad. But all these like little, cultural differences, like talking to people, it definitely takes a lot of time. But the best part always been is other people, other friends that I had with me, or people from here. I mean, my teachers or where I worked, everyone was very understanding of the fact that we all come from different cultures. So at Ferris too, I mean, our office here too are very understanding about how different students from different countries have different way of dealing with the same situation. So just people around here in this area have been super nice. So that always helped with your homesickness, I guess.
Aw.
So when I first came to Ferris, I was from a community college, and community colleges are pretty small, and their international students are also small in number. So I was excited to go to a four-year university that had many different countries represented in their international student organization. So I was excited to meet students from different countries, and I've heard before coming to Ferris that they have about 40 countries, um, like international students from 40 different countries. So that was really exciting for me. I went to in my community college. There were a lot of international students, but not really, there's none in my country or like closer to that. And then still even here at Ferris, there's no other Malagasy international students, but there were more diversity, and I was trying to find somebody who, can connect with me, like in a way, if they speak French or if they understand my culture in some way. So I was excited to make new friends.
Oh, wow. So I have just a fun question. So, eating at the canteen, what was like the weirdest or craziest thing that you guys like ate from the canteen? Or uh, with
The Rock Cafe.
the Rock? Yeah, sorry.
Um, I Most of the food was pretty normal to me since it was stuff that I've seen many times before. I know there's other students because like the first or second day's orientation, they take you to the Rock to eat, and there were certain students from different countries who were like just blown away about certain foods that they had there. Um, but I think personally, everything was pretty. They had pizza, they had burgers, they had the Mongol grill was definitely, I'd never eaten at a Mongol grill before, so that was different. But yeah, it was nice.
For me, I will be honest, I never understood orange chicken and sesame chicken. So that was like different for me. But now, like, I understand it's just kind of like a comfort food here. Like back home in India, we say chili chicken. So, I mean, it will be something you guys may have not heard. So, I think that kind of makes sense. But that was like the only food that I thought it was a little different. But except, as he said, I like the Mongol grill too. It was very kind of a comforting food at Rock, I would say, that is closest to my culture.
Yeah.
I don't think from the Rock in particular that there was any surprise to me since I've already been living in the US. But when I first came to the US, it's just the amount of food that we eat here. That was the most crazy thing for me, or surprising. It's just a lot. And the amount of meat, we do eat meat, but in tiny portions.
Yeah.
But here it's the biggest portion of the plate sometimes. So that was very surprising.
Oh my gosh. And then when you guys were coming here, was there something that you packed that you absolutely didn't need that you thought that you would have?
I don't know if it was that I thought I would, but the amount of shorts that I packed was not necessary at all. So I just, when I came back for Christmas that semester, I just brought home most of them. At that point, I brought home all because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna need these for the couple months.
Did you have a winter jacket when you came?
I didn't. I had to buy one when I got
Oh
there
my
because
gosh.
I never had the need for it. I took some sweaters and some
Yeah.
hoodies and stuff, but I had to buy a winter jacket when I got there. Yeah.
I don't think I packed like too much unnecessary stuff, knowing that winter here will be something that I have never seen before. So when it comes to that reason, I didn't really pack anything unnecessary. I bought at least amount of clothes I could, understanding that weather here will be way different than 100-degree Fahrenheit back home. So yeah,
Oh my gosh.
back there.
Yeah, I packed many fancy clothes actually. It's funny. It's like I only picked the fanciest of my clothes back home, but then when I got here, I was surprised to see that everyone just dressed so laid back, and there's no need for fancy clothes, rarely. So all my fancy clothes are just sitting there. Some I donated. So I think those are things that I didn't really need.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. And then how are classes in your home country different from classes at Ferris? And did you expect those differences or no?
Um, the difference that I saw when I came to Ferris was there is a lot of interaction, but I feel like in certain classes that I had taken at home, it was a lot more. There are certain teachers that were like they seem more like friends. So the classes, there's like a lot of breaks in them. Not breaks as in no teaching, but like conversations in class that were just random, and they were about the subject sometimes, but they were funny and stuff. And that happens at first too, but a lot of the professors that I've had have been, quite like to the topic and getting through all the information that we have. So I don't know if I expected it, but I do appreciate it because you do get to learn a lot. But that is one difference that I've had in classes.
Yeah, for me, the biggest difference is like we do have exams here at Ferris or like the community college that I was in, but it's not the same way as it's back home. It's very they pressure you a lot, and you more and more you just like you cram a lot, and then whoever the best in cramming, then they can do a better job in exams. But here, I think there is a good balance at Ferris. I find a really good balance between assignments, presentations, and exams. So because every student has, someone has strengths in exams, or some may have strengths in presentations or assignments. So I think I really appreciate that. One of the biggest differences is culture too. In India, we say sir and ma'am a lot. I mean, it's something that we grew up with, and we have to say it. It's a way of showing respect. But here, even if you respect your teacher, but you don't have to say sir and ma'am. So it's a different culture too. It takes time to adjust. But I think those are the two biggest differences that I observed, and I really appreciate the way the education happens here.
I agree with Praju on that one too, because um, yeah, we say Mr. and Mrs. or Miss and
Yeah.
Sir a lot here, and there are certain teachers at Ferris that my classmates would call by their first name, and I was like, that is different for me for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, yep.
Did you start calling your professor by their first name, or did you stay with what you were comfortable with?
There's like one that would call by his first name, but I would still put Mr. in front of it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Um, the differences. So I think the format of the class, so during a class time, it's for an hour and a half. And during the class time here, it has like a lecture and then a group discussion and then probably participation time and then an exercise. So that's all in one session. Back home, one session is usually just all lecture. And you can do whatever you want. You can listen to the teacher or you can do your own thing on your table. It doesn't really matter to the teacher back home. I mean, obviously some teachers do care and did more than just lecture back home, but that was very rare. Versus here, most teacher had lecture and participation opportunities, and it was more interactive, as Jordanny said.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wow, you probably have really good listening skills, and that's really cool. That'd be really hard.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then what was your favorite class that you took at Ferris?
Um, I've had a couple. There was a class my sophomore year. It was called it was a load calculation class. It's an HVAC class, one of my major classes. I really enjoyed that class a lot. There was last year fall. There was a air system design class, which I enjoyed a lot, and then one of my electives, which was geography. That was also one of my favorite classes. So those three classes come to mind when I think about my favorite classes I've taken.
One of my favorite classes was business ethics. I really enjoyed it because the way the class was structured, each and every student was comfortable to speak out what they think about the case studies that we will go through every week. So we would learn a topic and then learn a case study related to it, and then have a discussion about what are the thoughts and how the case needs to be handled and stuff like that. So I think I really enjoyed the class because the teacher was very enthusiastic about, the class itself. And the second favorite class was intercultural communication skills. It's a class that I really liked because we learned a lot about, ancestry, and we learned a lot about how, the migration also happened in the United States from different, countries, and then how people like international students can have a communication with students from here. So we did a project too, learning each other's cultures and ancestors and everything. So I think it's just a different, unique way to learn about ourselves and others and how we all are same and just one big family. So that was kind of cool.
That would be really cool. What was the class? What was the name of the class?
Intercultural communication.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a part of my minor, so that kind of helped me.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I usually enjoy most of my classes. So it's hard to pick one. Gosh. I'll just pick any class, I think, because
Do you have a favorite subject that you're like passionate about?
Oh, can't think on top of my head.
Or a class that you would like be so excited to go to every day and
Oh, I don't know.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm always excited to go to any classes, but
yeah.
Let me see. I think management 305, because of the teacher. She shared a lot of her personal experience during her lecture. So it wasn't just lecture. She gave example, and she was a great leader in her career. And she shared a lot of leadership techniques and tips that what's a great leader is like. So I was able to learn a lot from that. But also, I had a really great groups where we were very uplifting each other, and we were actually like interested in what each other's doing and not just there because of the work that we have to do together, but we bonded by the end of the class, during that class. So I really liked that.
That would be
Most,
really
so.
awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then how has your experience at Ferris State impacted your future goals or career ambition?
Well, I feel like I have learned a lot over the years I've been at Ferris. It's definitely piqued my interest in different subjects that I didn't know I like econ. I just started my econ minor last year after I took macro, and it was because of the teacher. I really liked how he taught econ, and I've taken a couple other classes with him, and so it's definitely made me. Because when I came, I was just focused on my major, and I was like, that when I go back home, that's all I'm gonna do. But it's definitely given me more ideas of different things I can do, while I'm still pretty focused on when I come back home working in the major I'm doing. Definitely feel like for hobbies or different things, what different classes I've taken can help me, you know, have side things that I want to do, just for my interests.
Yeah, I mean, not only the classroom experience itself, but I think working at Ferris as a student employee, and now I'm also interning here. So working with people kind of like motivates me to be the best of myself. I mean, the way they work, the way they manage their schedule, like all these things we have been learning in a class too. It's a practical experience that you use at your work. So being an international student, studying in the, American school, and also being able to work with people from different countries, it's kind of gives you overall experience of, I mean, you can do anything that really looking for the future. So I really appreciate that here at Ferris, that I got an opportunity to work with different kinds of people.
For me, I think it was in my senior year. The way the higher education goes is like when you start out, you just go basic, and then as you go from junior to senior, you get those specific class that correspond to your majors. And so in my senior year, I discovered so many classes that I didn't even know it's a subject to talk about. So, for example, there is a class, it's called Lean Systems, and it's very interesting. It just changed my mindset in a way, how to be effective with running a business, or how to create an effective process, stuff like that. So that, I think, changed me a lot for my future career, as I will never be the same anymore. And to be able to apply that in the workplace that I'm working right now, that's also a great opportunity and advantage that I have for my career.
Thank you so much. Let's see. Can you describe your favorite day or your favorite moment at Ferris?
Favorite day or favorite moment? I might say one of my favorite moments was when I finished my sophomore year. Um, my coordinator for my program asked me to come to his office. This was a couple days before I was leaving to come back home, and it was to present me with an award for being the best 2-year student for my 2 years that I was there. And I felt that was really a nice moment, because it felt like a lot of hard work that I put in paid off, and it was nice to tell my parents and show my parents. And so that was definitely one of my favorite moments there.
One of my favorite moments was really, I mean, international festival. I really, really enjoyed that, to be honest, because, we all talk about our food when we, as like friends, talk to each other about, Manu may say, hey, we have, good coconut chicken curry back home. And like, we just talk about it. And then, um, I heard from like other students about their cuisine, but that's one festival, the international food they do here at Ferris every year. It's a big event that they do as an office. That kind of like gives you more experience with food and culture, and you interact with them. So Manu and I kind of volunteered together at the India table, and how you interact with people and just kind of explain them about the food. I mean, Manu is not from India, but she still did it with me. So you learn from each other and confidently speak with people who are coming there. So I think these kind of experiences kind of like fascinates me, that how we are learning about each other and confidently interacting with people when they ask you about the information.
Yeah, I totally second what Praju said. That was a really special day to see different food, and it's not just about the food, but it's the culture and the dances and all of that, languages. Um, but I think personally for me, it was when I discovered that I'm into sports, and not American football sports, but like staying fit and just having fun at the gym. But when I discovered that there was a swim club here, because I've been in a swim club back home, and then when I went to the community college, they don't even have a pool. So when I discovered that there's a swim club at Ferris, I was so excited, and I joined the swim club, and everyone was very welcoming, and just to meet other swimmers from here and how well they're doing, all of that was very inspiring for me that day. So that was really exciting.
And then how would you describe your experience at Ferris using only 5 words? It could just be like simple words or a phrase. How would you describe your experience?
It has been very enjoyable, I'd say. Those are the 5 words I describe it as.
It's really easy. um, I would say, have to come up with a word now. I'm not.
It could just be like words like inspiring or fun.
Actually, inspiring is the best word I can say, because I have so many positive people around me to help me um, to get my career, achieve better in the future. So I think that that's the perfect word.
How would I say? I would describe it in 5 words. There was a lot of exchanges. I don't know if that's 5, but it's basically from the students that I interacted with, the teachers, my academic advisors, and everybody that I meet. Sometimes I just meet random people at Ferris. They're not even students, but they're just hanging out there, and you just learn from them too. So yeah, a lot of exchanges that I made at Ferris.
Great. And then how has COVID-19 impacted either your visa or maybe your program, or even if you're in an internship, how has COVID-19 even itself or even legislation recently affected any of those?
Well, personally, my visa hasn't been affected too much as it stands. My internship, I did apply for an internship in the U.S. And there was some progress with that, but with COVID, it kind of just stopped there, and so I had to come home and do my internship. But for next semester, it's still a little bit up in the air, seeing how things are going to be play out. Like the airport here isn't open. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting next couple months.
For me here at Ferris, yes, my internship was supposed to be in office because a lot of tasks that given to me as an intern, I had to be in the office to do them. But my supervisor has been very understanding to change those tasks and kind of like convince the teacher and the internship coordinator to with the change task to still continue my internship, because this is my last semester and I had to do it. So that's been very helpful. And then it didn't really affect my visa either. But in the future, we will see how things will work out. Everything is up in the air. But so far for the summer and last spring semester when COVID hit, it it worked out pretty well. There was no issues. So.
Okay. So I'm doing my internship right now as well, and it did impact it actually in a positive way, because my supervisor had to work around and build the internship program based upon the changes that we've made on campus. So either way, I think everything went fine in the end. And when it comes to my visa, so far it hasn't impacted anything. And when it comes to my plans to graduate, so far it's still like on the way, and hopefully it doesn't change. Nothing changes. So yeah.
And then what advice do you have for new international students who are going to immerse themselves into Ferris State University?
I would personally say that the international office is superb. So definitely hang around there, especially when you're just getting situated in. From there, you'll figure out things, but it's definitely might be a little bit scary and you might be anxious at first, but um, you'll meet new friends, you'll meet new people. Your teachers are a great help. So definitely just try to be involved in anything that you can, and it'll definitely work out for sure.
Well, when I came to Ferris first, I know I was a transfer student, but still I was new. The international office said it's your home away from home. It really is. I mean, they are very helpful and welcoming. It's very easy to reach out to them. So one of the best thing about Ferris is like you don't have to wait for a long time to get to talk to someone. If you need someone, they understand. When it comes to academics, I guess talking to teacher, explaining that, if you don't understand anything, teachers have office hours. They're never going to say no to you. The office hours are open for students. So these are the little things that, students should remember, and talk to current students too, who had already that experience in the past to help themselves emerge.
I would say it always seems scary at first. And in my experience, it was very, very scary. And especially you don't know what's going to happen. That unknown thing is very scary. But as long as you are willing, I guess, to put in the work to socialize and to speak out for yourself, since you will probably be by yourself here at first, I think it will be fine. But that was just from my personal experience. So, but I will just say, speak out for yourself, and don't hesitate to reach out to someone here, as they're very helpful. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that's the end of all of my questions. Was there anything else you guys would like to add, or?
I just like to say thank you. I hope that whoever is thinking about coming to Ferris, they definitely think about it, and just know that it's a great school. I've definitely enjoyed it. The international office has always been there for me whenever I needed anything. Very helpful, and I've met a lot of nice, great people here. Made a lot of friends, and so and thank you, Kayla, as well for all these questions. It was very nice to discuss it. But yeah, thank you.
Yep, I just want to say thank you too. I mean, it's been a great experience, very positive and friendly. So, all the international students who wants to come transfer, come, from their own country here, just feel free to even reach out to current students if they find them on Facebook or any other social media. So, it can be like an easy transition for them. And Kia, thank you for having all these great questions. It was very helpful.
Yeah, I want to thank the three of you too for having me here, and I hope you have a good end of your class this summer. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Kayla, I had like just like at the end of this discussion, you said that you are from the United States. Where are you from exactly in the US?
I am originally from Oregon, and I moved to Chicago for a job. And then one of my coworkers was from Michigan, and then they were going to Ferris. And so I looked into Ferris's program, and they're very flexible. I'm an adult student. So going back, I really like that they took a lot of my credits, just like a lot of you had that experience. And then also they're very flexible, and they're also very accommodating. There's so many like programs and stuff that fit your like unique, diverse needs. So that's why I picked Ferris.
And how have your experience overall working with international students? You may have had them in the class before. I know both of us are in this class right now, but how was your experience? What's something that you learned probably that you never thought of in the past?
Let's see. I think the biggest impact is just like being able to collaborate with people who have totally different views from you, and it just like allows you to like remove your own like cultural lens, and just like it just like opens your mind up to like different possibilities that you probably would have never considered before. And by just being like open-minded to like those new perceptions, they just create so many different angles, and allows you just to like just be more like more free in like your studies, because you're not like closed.
Yep.
That's true.
Well, I just like to say thank you to everybody again.
Thank
It's
you.
very beneficial, and yep, good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it was great talking with you guys.